Hello and welcome to this video. We recording. This video will dive deep into 4 ways to nurture your level 1 students, and thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to dive deep into 4 different ways of how can you start nurturing your own tribe, the level 1 folks. Now there will be multiple levels as we discussed in previous videos and so many videos here and there that you are going to have a lot of levels inside a community, from a webinar to whatever that is. And assuming that this video starts here, assuming that you already started to have the initial flow of students inside your community, that one being, and they are pretty new and you are pretty new to the entrepreneurship world, you are pretty new to nurturing people. And this is one of the challenges that we face when we start off. It's a comma after that. It's like there's nothing other. When we start off as a new person, we being in the industry for the first time, the students enrolling for the first time, they have no idea who you are. Probably they know who you are. They don't know how the community works. They know how you work, but they don't know how the community works. So there are like a lot of angles we can cover this topic, but we're going to dive down into 4 different ways. How can you nurture your level 1, the initial flow of students, so that you're not starting to build that engine. You're starting to build that ecosystem. You're starting to build that community from the scratch, from ground up. So what are the 4 different ways you can nurture? You can nurture this in the first go itself. Like you can have this as an initial flow when you have students, but you can also keep on continuing this 4 steps as and how you even have the bigger community that you are going to eventually have. That brings us to the point number 1. Thank you so much for joining in. We are going to dive right into first point. The first point talks about set the context right. I not just said set the context, I said setting the context right. Now, how do you know what is right? Like there are a lot of variations that we do, and to be very honest, you are doing this. You have put in so much hours and invested so much of money and brought the students. You genuinely cared for so many people, and now you started to bring those people in. Now, in the first go itself, again, you have invested so much of time in creating your products, services, tactical stuff, so many whole things. We invested so much of money here and there. And now when the people started to come, now people belong from a lot of different cultures, a lot of different streets, a lot of different mindsets, a lot of different phases of their life. Putting them into a community and having set the right context is very important in the first immediate go itself. So point number 1 talks about how do you set the right context? How do you set the context right? First, every week that you're doing sessions, the community calls that you do in the Academy of Finance Scientists, that's something called the core table that we do, like for all members, whoever joins the community, right? So, point number 1, in setting the context right, we go through course hacker system over and over on a weekly basis. That 1, you get clarity of what you're saying. Second, they get clarity on what you're saying from a different perspective on a weekly level. Just like my father used to give this example way back, when you, for example, if you are reading this one book, you're reading this How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, this one book for the first time, okay? So you are on ground floor. Probably a couple of months later, a couple of years later, you want to read this back again. Probably you are kind of stressed out and stuff like that. You want to go back to read this book. Now when you read it, now you are on a different level of receiving the information set over here. Based on your experiences, based on the journey you have been through, you now are on level 1, flow 1, then flow 2. The flow 3. The analogy that he used to give is when you're on the ground floor, you get to see just the car that's parked in front of you. When you go to level flow 1, you get to see what's above the car. When you go to flow 2, you get to see like a little bit of the street, that this road's going there. There's like a small little park over there. When you go to flow 3, you now get to see like the birds. Okay, there are pigeons staying on that level, like something like that. You go to 5th level, you go to 6th floor, you go to 7th floor. The more you do things, the more you, for example, the more you read this, the different level of perception, the perspective it keeps on going, increasing all over again. That being said, like that's how the floor example kind of works. Like when you are on probably 10th floor or 25th floor, you get to see what the whole area that you've got surrounded with. When you go to probably 24th floor Burj Khalifa or something like that, you get to see the whole city. You just don't get to see one car, you get to see the whole city. So that's like when you keep on talking about course hacker system over and over, you get clarity with different perspective, they get clarity with different perspective. Point number 2, not point number 2, the sub point of the set the context right is the roadmap. Sharing the roadmap on what they have to be doing next is extremely important on weekly basis. Now, if you have been doing this one if you have watched this one video of goal setting, for example, now you have to do this. If you have finished that course, you do this. If you finish that course, you do this. Like how many days you need to finish even one course. Setting the context right is very important when it comes to roadmap. Point. The next subtopic of this one is give them action steps. Instead of just also you're sharing course hacker system, you are sharing the roadmap and then tell them, okay, in this course, do this and give them an exercise along with it, so that you are holding them accountable on a very detailed manner. Point number 2 is send them daily mails or alternate mails. Now, the marketing perspective completely. We are not talking about the marketing perspective. Marketing perspective over until they became the customers, they became the students. Now they are already the students. These mails that you are going to send them on a daily basis or on an alternate basis, they are going to expect it from you. Second, if they are not expecting it from you, it's from your side. You have created an automated sequence for your level 1 students where they get to receive mails on a daily basis. Now what goes in your daily mails, like you send them their daily action plan. For example, if I join your community on day 1, okay, so what should I be doing on day 2? You send the mail on day 2, not day 1, not send a day missing mail on day 1 saying day 2 video watch tomorrow. No, you keep on pumping in and shooting mails on a daily basis so that they exactly know, okay, this is what I have to be doing today, this is what I have to be doing. That directly goes back and links back to the roadmap that you're going to share, the guide that is like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Point number 3, follow up is very important over here. For example, if they have said you, okay, I have finished watch it, I completed watching the second course that you get, and they don't know what to do next, send them, okay, this is the name of the next course that you are supposed to be doing, this is the link, let them do it. And once you give them that one task, don't just leave it on them, because life is so powerful that it takes over them. Once they ask you a question, now they actually get inside your radar. It's like, okay, now Fazil has asked me this question. Tomorrow I'm going to ask him, okay, whether he completed the task that I gave him yesterday. If not, okay, you not did this, okay, go complete it, come back tomorrow. You keep on following up. You keep on following up on the lines that you're holding that one person accountable. People might get irritated. We don't want to work with them. The people who are genuinely interested would love to have your accountability. Now, this can happen at the initial stages of you building the community, because if you've got like accountable members, as in how you start to grow your community, you need to hire people, you need to hire coaches, coach comrades and stuff like that, so that they can facilitate all these things for you. Point number 4 is, this is very important from my perspective, is like, remember this word I don't have like an abbreviation, is help them out with the initial momentum. Okay, with the initial momentum, this is kind of very important here to understand, is because when they get inside your community, they are very excited, and excitement will last for like 2 days, probably just 2 hours, and the life takes over. They've got so many distractions in their life, and they are not even doing. You will come across these situations and these members who have actually paid you money, and they are least bothered to consume your course. They are least bothered to get on your calls. They are least bothered to get results. Like, they bought it on impulse. Probably they got so excited to get and start doing things, just like New Year resolution. What happens in New Year resolutions? We get so pumped up. So we say like, I am going to do things from January 1st. You go to gym, the gyms are full. 7th of January, the gyms are finished. They're gone. They're empty. That's what happens with your community as well. They're so excited to buy. They pay you. They don't get to do stuff. So you have to hold them accountable in the building of the initial phase of momentum, because now that they're excited, anchor their excitement and let them do stuff. Make them like attend these calls, so that we are going to share a specific topic which is so relevant to what you're going through, which is so important for you to understand. It is so important that the class that I'm going to take, the mastermind that you're going to attend, the weekly call that I'm going to do probably on Sunday, is going to be beneficial for it's so important for your next steps. Like, if you don't attend that, you're creating the scarcity and helping them build that initial releasing that initial momentum. Weekly calls, Q&As, probably keep like 15-20 minutes on a weekly basis of Q&A session, so that everybody who joins the community gets an opportunity to ask you questions. So once they ask you questions, one, they get inside your radar. Second, once you give them an opportunity to ask a question, they themselves will feel, okay, dude, I'm asking a question, I better hold myself accountable, because now that person is giving out so much of value and information for one question that I've asked, and I should be coming regularly to this calls and whether. So you're psychologically coming and transforming a life, in other words. Okay, so that brings us to the conclusion of this video. Set the context right, send them mails, alternative mails, and send them exactly what they have to be doing. Follow up mails, and follow up not just mails but then also getting them to do things. Fourth one, help them with their initial momentum IM. Now if you have made it this far inside this video, I want you to comment down below CMFM, that's context, mails, follow up, momentum. Okay, so just I'm kind of tactically looking a lot of things, the analytical wise. So if you've made it so far, thank you so much. Now, that being said, thank you so much for making this video / podcast topic me and not me and me a part of your day. I'm going to see you in another exciting video.
وبث الدعاء الخفي